If you're over 60 and find yourself waking at 2 or 3 a.m. every night, the cause might not be age or stress. It might be what's sitting quietly in that glass before bed, the drink you thought was helping. Many people end the day with a sip of water, a small ritual of care before turning off the light. But after 60, the body listens differently. What used to quench now awakens, because the systems that once stored water quietly through the night have simply become lighter, more sensitive with age. I'm Dr. Jonathan Reed, a physician who spent more than 25 years helping older adults rebuild strength, energy, and natural sleep. And tonight, I'll show you how to replace that restless habit with something that restores calm from within. There are 4 simple bedtime drinks, each healing a different reason your sleep keeps breaking. Nerves that won't quiet, muscles that can't relax, metabolism that stays wired, and hormones that lose the rhythm of night. One of them is unlike anything you'd expect. It doesn't sedate you, it retrains you. If this resonates, please like, subscribe, and tell me in the comments where you're watching from. Every comment helps another older adult discover that peaceful sleep isn't lost. It's simply waiting to be remembered. Around 2 or 3 a.m., when the room is still and your muscles beg for rest, your body suddenly wakes. It's not rebellion, it's rhythm gone slightly off track. As we move past 60, the body's night chemistry starts to change. One of the first shifts happens in a quiet hormone called vasopressin, the signal that tells your kidneys, hold water, let the body sleep. When we're younger, vasopressin rises naturally after dark, slowing urine production so the bladder can stay calm until morning. But with age, that night surge fades. The kidneys stay alert, filtering more often, and even a few gentle sips before bed can send the wrong message. Keep working. It's not weakness, it's sensitivity. The same organs doing their job with less guidance than before. Then comes the melatonin decline. Melatonin is the body's internal moonlight, guiding every cell toward rest. After 60, it doesn't fade to zero, but its rhythm flattens. You may still fall asleep easily, yet the deeper stages, the slow, heavy waves that repair muscle, balance hormones, and steady the heart, become shorter. The brain drifts near the surface, ready to wake at the smallest signal. Add late caffeine, a glowing screen, or stress carried from the day, and your inner clock begins to lose its night rhythm entirely. That's why you can spend 7 hours in bed and still feel unrefreshed. You didn't lose sleep, you lost depth. The body rested, but it didn't restore. So the answer isn't to stop drinking before bed. It's to change what you drink and how it speaks to your body. Because certain drinks can quietly rebuild those missing signals, relaxing the nerves, easing the kidneys, cooling the core, and guiding the brain back into deeper waves of sleep. Over the next few minutes, we'll explore 4 of them. 4 gentle ways to remind your body that nighttime is still a place of safety. And we'll begin with the simplest one, a warm mineral drink that tells your nerves it's time to release and rest. Number 4, chamomile, lemon balm tea. The gentle switch. Most people think any kind of tea before bed will keep you awake. That's a myth, because some teas don't stimulate the mind, they settle it. Chamomile and lemon balm belong to a small family of herbs that speak the language of calm. Inside their petals and leaves is a natural compound called apigenin. It binds softly to GABA receptors, the same tiny switches that prescription sleep aids touch. But instead of forcing you to shut down, it simply turns the volume down. Your thoughts slow, your breathing deepens, and the body begins to remember what stillness feels like. A 2022 review from Oxford Sleep Research found that older adults who drank a single cup of chamomile tea before bed increased their sleep efficiency by roughly 15%. They didn't necessarily fall asleep faster. They stayed asleep longer, and that's what matters after 60. Lemon balm works the same way, gently lowering evening cortisol, the stress hormone that keeps the mind wired long after sunset. I think of Marianne, 65, a retired teacher who hadn't slept through the night in years. She told me she couldn't fall asleep without the TV humming in the background. We changed one thing. She turned the lights low an hour before bed, switched off the television, and brewed a cup of chamomile tea with half a teaspoon of honey. The first night, she still woke once. By the third, she slept through. She told me, "It felt like my body finally remembered what quiet meant." That's how gentle chemistry works. Warmth, apigenin, and time. They don't knock you out. They guide you inward. If you'd like to try it, here's what helps. Steep one bag of chamomile or lemon balm for at least 7 minutes. Sip it slowly about an hour before bed. Add a touch of honey if you like. Not for sweetness, but because it steadies blood sugar and soothes digestion. Avoid boiling water. Aim for warmth, the kind that tells your nervous system, you're safe now. Give it a few nights. You'll start to notice smaller things first. Fewer racing thoughts, smoother breaths, a sense that sleep comes to meet you instead of being chased. That's your nervous system responding, one quiet sip at a time. When the mind is calm but the body still hums, when your legs keep whispering for movement, that's the signal to feed the muscles, not the nerves. That's where the next drink comes in. A warm blend that delivers magnesium, the mineral that tells every cell, the workday is over. Number 3, warm almond milk with nutmeg, the magnesium soother. Almond milk works on the body's quiet tension, the kind that sits in the calves, the feet, or the back of the neck long after the lights go out. It's gentle chemistry for tired muscles and restless nights. Many adults over 60 know that feeling. The legs that twitch just as you drift off, the feet that cramp at midnight, the tension that won't release no matter how tired you are. People often say, "It's just age," or "I must have walked too much today." But the truth is more precise. It's not simply overuse, it's magnesium loss, and sometimes a little too much nighttime cortisol, the hormone that keeps muscles in a subtle fight-or-flight state. That's why warm almond milk with a touch of nutmeg works so beautifully. Almond milk is naturally rich in magnesium, a mineral that tells your muscle fibers when to let go. Without enough of it, your nerves stay on high alert, sending restless signals through the night. Nutmeg, meanwhile, carries a mild natural compound called myristicin, a gentle sedative that slows overactive brain waves without dulling the senses. Together, they create what I call the soft release, a signal to the body that effort is over. Recovery can begin. A 2023 clinical nutrition trial confirmed this simple chemistry. Older adults who added dietary magnesium before bed increased their deep sleep time by about 17% within 3 weeks. That's not placebo. That's the body finally remembering how to relax when given the right mineral cues. I think of Mr. Grant, 68, a retired accountant who told me, "My legs just won't shut off." He'd tried stretching, baths, even medication for restless legs, but the relief never lasted. We replaced his nightly water with warm almond milk, a pinch of ground nutmeg, and half a teaspoon of honey. He drank it about 45 minutes before bed, sitting in low light. No screens, just quiet. By the 5th night, he said the buzzing in his calves was gone. By the 10th, he wasn't waking at all. He smiled and said, "Doc, it feels like my body finally knows when the day ends." That's the beauty of magnesium. It doesn't force rest. It teaches rest. It restores the electrical rhythm that keeps nerves and muscles in tune. When that rhythm steadies, heart rate eases, blood vessels widen slightly, and even breathing feels smoother. Sleep becomes less of a struggle, more of a surrender. If you'd like to try it, here's the simple routine. Warm about 150 milliliters of unsweetened almond milk, not boiling. Add a small pinch of nutmeg and half a teaspoon of honey. Stir slowly until the aroma rises. Sip it about 45 minutes before bed. preferably after screens are off and lights are dim. If you take magnesium supplements, you can lower the dose slightly on nights you drink this. Food-based magnesium absorbs better and sits more gently on the stomach. Give your body a week. You'll notice fewer cramps, less twitching, and a steady heaviness in the limbs that tells you sleep is arriving on its own. It's calm you can feel, not just hope for. And if you've quieted your nerves and soothed your muscles, but still wake too early, long before sunrise, that's a different story. It usually means your metabolism and blood sugar are keeping you on alert. That's where the next drink steps in. One that warms from the inside and restores balance where energy and sleep meet. Number 2, golden milk, the metabolic reset. Many people think sleep and metabolism are separate worlds. They aren't. The truth is, the same chemistry that gives you energy by day must quiet down for you to rest at night. After 60, that rhythm often falls out of sync. Blood sugar tends to rise faster and fall unevenly. Cortisol, the hormone that once helped you start your mornings, begins to surge too early, tricking your brain into thinking it's time to wake. That's why you can feel tired yet restless, heavy yet wired. You're trying to sleep while your body is still working the night shift. This is where golden milk, a blend of milk, turmeric, cinnamon, and tryptophan-rich proteins, brings the system back into balance. The warmth calms digestion. The tryptophan in milk converts to serotonin and later into melatonin, the body's natural sleep signal. Turmeric, rich in curcumin, lowers inflammation and oxidative stress that interfere with hormone balance. And cinnamon quietly evens blood sugar, preventing the dips that jolt you awake at 4 a.m. with a racing heart or sudden hunger. A 2021 study in the Journal of Metabolism followed older adults with mild metabolic syndrome. After 2 weeks of evening turmeric milk, their C-reactive protein levels, a key marker of inflammation, dropped by nearly 18%. More importantly, participants reported longer, steadier sleep and improved morning energy. It wasn't a sedative effect, it was a metabolic reset. I think of Margaret, 67, a retired librarian managing mild diabetes. Her blood sugar would spike after dinner, crash around 3 a.m., and wake her every night. We added a small mug of golden milk, warm oat milk, a quarter teaspoon of turmeric, a pinch of cinnamon, and a touch of honey. Within a week, her nighttime awakenings faded. Within 2, her fasting glucose had stabilized, and she told me, "For the first time in years, I wake up because I'm rested, not because my body's alarm went off." That's what happens when you balance warmth, protein, and spice. Golden milk doesn't knock you out. It teaches your metabolism to slow down when the sun does. It helps your liver rest, your muscles repair, and your brain produce melatonin naturally. If you'd like to try it, here's a simple way. Warm about 120 milliliters of milk or oat milk, add a quarter teaspoon of turmeric, and a pinch of cinnamon. If you enjoy a little sweetness, stir in a half a teaspoon of honey. Drink it about 90 minutes before bed, not immediately after eating. The goal is to signal relaxation, not digestion. Within days, you'll notice fewer early awakenings and a calmer, steadier morning mood. That's your metabolism learning to rest again. And when inflammation cools and sugar stabilizes, the next step is to help your brain hold that rhythm through the entire night. Because deep sleep depends on one molecule that age often silences, melatonin itself. Number 1, tart cherry juice, the natural melatonin activator. Melatonin isn't just a sleep hormone, it's the body's clock keeper, the signal that tells every cell night has begun. And as we age, that clock grows quieter. The pineal gland, which once pulsed melatonin like a nightly tide, releases less and less after 60. Artificial light, late-night screens, and irregular meal times dim it even further. That's why many older adults find themselves falling asleep easily but waking again at 2 or 3 a.m. unable to return to that deep, restoring stage of sleep. Most people reach for melatonin pills, hoping to replace what's missing. But pills often overshoot the mark, flooding the system, then fading too fast. They trick the brain for a night or two, but they don't rebuild its rhythm. Your body needs something gentler, something that reminds it, not replaces it. That's where tart cherry juice comes in. These small, deep red fruits are one of the few foods naturally rich in melatonin itself, as well as anthocyanins, antioxidants that reduce inflammation in the brain's sleep centers and lengthen the time your own melatonin stays active. In other words, tart cherries don't just add melatonin, they help your body hold on to it. A clinical trial at Louisiana State University followed adults over 60 who drank tart cherry juice twice a day for 2 weeks. By the end of the study, participants were sleeping an average of 84 minutes longer and reporting fewer nighttime awakenings. Not because they were sedated, but because their natural sleep rhythm had quietly returned. I think of Helen, 71, who came to me saying, "Doctor, I can fall asleep, but I can't stay asleep." We added one simple ritual, a small glass of tart cherry concentrate, about 50 milliliters diluted with a bit of water, 2 hours before bed. She dimmed the lights, stretched lightly, and kept her phone out of reach. A week later, she smiled and said, "For the first time in years, I slept until sunrise." That's the quiet power of restoring what the body already knows how to do. Melatonin isn't a drug, it's a signal, a whisper of rhythm. And when you feed it gently, your body listens. If you'd like to try it, here's what helps. Mix 30 to 60 milliliters of tart cherry concentrate with a bit of water, about half a cup total, and sip it around 2 hours before bed. It's not about volume, it's about timing. Too close to bedtime, and you'll miss the body's natural curve. 2 hours gives your system time to absorb, release, and align. Pair it with dim lights, calm breathing, and no cold drinks afterward. Warmth keeps melatonin steady, cold resets alertness. You don't have to use it every night. Alternate it with your other evening drinks. Each one touches a different part of the sleep puzzle. But when you need to rebuild rhythm, tart cherries are the key that unlocks the night again. Because sleep isn't something you lose with age. It's something your body remembers once you give it the right signal. Yet every signal has its opposite. And a few bedtime habits many people still trust can quietly undo that balance. Not from malice, but from misunderstanding. Let's start with the most common one. Cold, plain water. Hydration is vital, yes. But timing matters more than people realize. After 60, the kidneys become lighter sleepers. They filter more water at night, not less. So when you drink a full glass right before bed, the body reads it as a command, not a comfort. Flush, don't rest. Your heart rate rises slightly, bladder pressure builds, and within 2 hours you're awake again, crossing the room under bright light. Each interruption cuts through the deep sleep stage, where growth hormone repairs muscle and tissue. You wake feeling as if you barely slept, even if you were in bed 8 hours. If you love the ritual of a drink before bed, shift it earlier. Keep most of your fluids before dinner, then just a few warm sips later. Enough to moisten the throat, not flood the system. Warmth tells the kidneys, stand down. Cold commands them, get to work. That's why chilled water may refresh the day, but disturbs the night. The second culprit hides behind a friendly label. Sweetened fruit juice, orange, apple, even grape. All sound healthy, but at bedtime they work against your internal clock. Those quick natural sugars spike blood glucose, forcing insulin to rise when it should be quiet. 2 or 3 hours later, the drop wakes you. Heart fluttering, sometimes sweaty, sometimes hungry. It's not insomnia, it's chemistry. Your liver, meant to rest and detoxify, is suddenly digesting. And as it burns through the sugar, it releases adrenaline to stabilize the fall. The same hormone that tells your brain, wake up now. If you crave sweetness before bed, trade the juice for tart cherry or golden milk. Both low in sugar, both supportive of melatonin and magnesium. Or simply eat half a banana with warm water an hour before sleep. The potassium soothes nerves without jolting blood sugar. Small switches like these protect the night you're trying to rebuild. Because better sleep isn't about adding more. It's often about removing the quiet thieves of rest. And once you do, the body doesn't need to be convinced to sleep. It will simply remember how. So tonight, before you turn out the lights, think of this. Sleep isn't something that fades with age. It's something your body can relearn, the same way a melody returns when you hum the first few notes. Each warm sip, each quiet breath is that first note. Maybe it's chamomile easing your thoughts. Maybe it's almond milk calming your legs. Maybe it's golden milk balancing your chemistry, or tart cherry juice reminding your body what night feels like. And just as important, maybe it's the choice not to reach for cold water or sweet juice at the wrong time. Every small choice rewires the rhythm. Your body isn't fragile, it's responsive. It's been adapting for decades, and it still listens. You just have to speak its language. And the language of night is warmth, slowness, and trust. So give yourself permission to rest, not by force, but by signal. Dim the lights, put your phone away, sip something gentle, and let your body remember what peace feels like. Because every good night's sleep is a quiet rehearsal for strength, clarity, and healing the next day. If this message resonated with you, please like this video, subscribe, and tell me in the comments which drink you'll try tonight. Every comment helps another older adult discover that better sleep isn't gone, it's waiting, because your body remembers how to sleep. You just have to remind it.